live. Yeah, we going live. Hey, we going live. Yeah, we going live. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
I am Jarrett, the football genius Burgess.
And I am Stephanie Fitzpatrick, aka the Advantage Coach.
And we got a special guest.
Yes.
Jarahn, J Boi Williams, one of my guys, one of my closest friends, is on the podcast this week.
Loving this. This is amazing. Thank you for joining us, Jarahn.
Indeed. Thank you for having me on. I love it.
Of course, man. We had to have you on, even though, you know what I'm saying, like we had some scheduling conflicts with you because, you know what I'm saying, when we tried to get you on a couple of weeks ago, you was too big time for us. I got this and I got.
I'm just saying, like, you told me you was gonna give me ample time.
I did. I said I would give
you gave me like 2 days. I was like, well,
my life don't work like that.
Right.
Exactly.
I was like, hey, I said, as soon as I ask you, I'm gonna give you about 2 weeks. 2 days before the joint. Hey, you free Thursday night?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I apologize for him. Don't.
Yeah.
I accept your apology.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna take it. Nah, but we appreciate you coming on the show today, man.
Absolutely. It's a special day. Can I say that too?
Yeah.
If y'all don't know, I'm wearing my pearls today.
Yeah. Listen, I was just about to get into that.
Cause listen, today it went down. Yeah.
Hey, when my man said, "Okay, where the money reside?"
Where the money reside?
Okay. Yeah.
You have Kamala Harris in the White House.
Yeah.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about how she was an HU graduate. Step, please. I just, it's just so much greatness that comes from this university. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we gotta highlight it. Whenever we see it, we gotta highlight it. I'm
vomiting before the night's over with between the two of y'all. I'm sure. Like,
you need to get your bag.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta give her a vomit bag.
That's a amazing. Like, y'all get to brag. That's all I can say. Because hey, that's pretty dope, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a special day for you guys who are listening. It's Wednesday, so we're recording the day earlier than we usually record. And so today was the inauguration, and thankfully it all went off without a hitch.
Listen. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. Our 46th president got sworn in.
Hallelujah. Thank you.
And we hype about it because we needed to get that other guy out the office.
Oof.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
It was time for him to go.
I didn't realize how uptight I've been for the last 4 years until this actually happened today. Like, I literally released so much emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why do I keep crying? Because it was all of this emotion and all of this, what I had been holding just flooded out today, because it was the biggest relief. And I think that was the sentiment across Republicans, Democrats, people today. It was just like a big, huge sigh of relief. Yeah. And I'm sorry, Jarrah, what were you saying?
No, you're fine. I said, I was just happy he pardoned a few of our people. That's the best thing he's done since he's been in office. On his way out, he helped us out, So I was just grateful for, see a couple of people get freed.
Well,
but on to the next, baby.
On to the next one.
Yes. Let's go. All right.
Well, Jarrah, we got you on the show today, man. We want to talk about some stuff. Like, I know you're familiar with Field to the Real because, obviously we've had conversations about it. But just a brief overview for people who may be listening who aren't sure about what Field to the Real, the project is, not the podcast. What the project is our aim is to help athletes transition to life after sport. You know, to introduce them to their passion so that they can connect to their purpose. I know that because I was there for most of it. I know that, you know what I'm saying, like transitioning to life after sport was a journey for you, right? Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I wanted to ask you is, like, did you feel?
Can you tell the people about Jarahn's sports life first?
Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna let J Boi tell these folks about, you know, what he did in sport, because I don't want to shortchange you, because you were I wouldn't admit this unless we was on the podcast, but you were kind of a big deal at Howard University. You are a record holding wide receiver at Howard. So tell us a little bit about your journey to Howard and your playing career.
All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate that, man. But first and foremost, so coming out of Miami, came out of an IB school, International Baccalaureate. So it was like a smart school, man. So
yeah, it was.
You know, the team was, we had athletes, but we couldn't compete on that level with everybody else, right? So you had the regular guys that just went to school and played ball. But playing down here, you know, I kind of stood out just a little bit, enough to get noticed by a few black colleges. No big schools, nothing like that. Howard came knocking on the door. Flea came down to the crib, man.
Oh, gosh. Coach.
And bless me, man. He's, you know, we interested in you, and brought me on a visit. Needless to say, I signed with Howard, went up there, and, you know, I went on the campus, and I was mind blown, just because it was so many athletes, just hands down. People that I watched on Saturdays all the time, right?
Yeah.
Was the same guys I was lining up in practice with every day, literally. And so just getting on campus and competing with these guys, I was like, man, you know, I got a little shot, man. If I do it right, I could do a little something, man. And it was funny because going to my sophomore year, Bartell was the biggest thing on campus, right? Everybody was coming to see this guy. He's a 6'2" cornerback, running a 4.3 40.
Yeah.
His intangibles were just off the charts, right?
Right.
So, and I was going to get, I'm like, well, let me go against him, see what happens. And I was winning. But I was just winning day after day. And I was like, these scouts out here watching him, they got to see this little dude over here. This little guy got to be seen somehow, some way, man. And so I just thought, I was like, man, it's going to take off from here. And he left. He went second round. And then when he left, it was just Bate. Bate was here. And so with him, it wasn't more of a me winning situation. It was kind of like a 50-50. You know, he gave me everything outside. He took everything inside. And, you know, scouts was there. So I'm like, well, they got to see something. So me basing it off of them, I was like, oh, I'm good to go, man. I'm solid, man. I'm good, you know. So they left, and, you know, I had a pretty good career, man, at Howard. We was a running offense mostly. So I got a couple passes here and there my first 3 years. And it didn't really take off till my senior year, 2007, when we got a new coordinator, new head coach, man. I actually got to, new system. So I got to actually show my talents, man, in a different way. People didn't see it before. So, you know, I led the conference in touchdowns, you know, was at the top in receiving yards and catches and everything. So I was top of every category in receiving as a receiver. So it ended well, man. Ended up being an All-American, first team All-MEAC, All-American FCS, honorable mention type deal, man. So everything was solid, man. So I ended my career with a couple records, you know. My name's in that book a little bit, you know. But
we trying to figure out when you gonna get inducted into that Hall of Fame.
Man, you know what? I don't even look at it, because from what I hear, man, it's tough to get into. You know, you got to be like a career-wise, just like solid over years, and it's crazy. So you say that, and we got that group chat, and I just found out about, I think his name's Tracy Singleton.
Yeah.
Like one of the baddest dudes to walk the planet at Howard at receiver, and I never heard of it until the group chat couple months ago. And so as a receiver, I'm like, I should have been known about him because he that guy. He's the guy I should have been chasing after, but I didn't. But that Hall of Fame, that's a different category. If I get it, I'll be ecstatic to be in that, in that company, man. But if not, I just know my time there. I enjoyed it and I loved it, man, hands down.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And thinking about our time there, and thinking about some of the things that you were able to accomplish, one of the things that I think about is, I would say some of like the battles you would have in practice with some of like our top corners. And you mentioned Bartell, and Bartell was, I would say, hands down, probably during our tenure, one of the most talented and most athletic players to come through.
Right.
But Rontarius Robinson, I gotta mention his name because that guy, as a cornerback, that guy was probably one of the best corners I ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tallahassee dude, man. I got a shout out to my Florida dude, man. Hands down the best corner that done walked out of Howard in my eyes. That I've played against. He was so technically sound, man. He had that delayed jam, which I hadn't seen before coming out of high school. Coming off the line, he didn't touch me. And I'm like, oh, I'm straight. I'm out. So I'm about to throw my hand up. And then next thing I know, I got a couple hands to my chest, man. And he kind of like changed my whole mindset on how to approach the game, man. And he was a dude that was literally always in position to make a play. And he worked on his craft daily, man. Like I said, just being a Florida guy, man, I already looked up to him anyway. But I just realized, I'm like, nah, like he legit, like solid, hands down, one of the baddest to walk this planet.
Yeah.
I love this. Yeah. It's like I'm just listening in on the conversation. Like, yeah, I love this.
Man, but so you talk about the football part, right? But we know that, at some point football has to end. Do you feel like your time at Howard and the school particularly prepared you for the transition to life after sport?
So when you say the school, do you mean like the actual school or the coaches and who?
So I'm gonna say it in its totality, but I want you to speak to it all. I want you to speak to, like, obviously, class is top notch. Right. Like our professors were top notch. Yeah. But all of it, like, do you think you received enough support from the athletic staff? Like when I say the athletic staff, I mean the administration. Do you think that you received enough from your coaches? Yeah,
so
like along those lines.
With the athletic staff, I would say, nah, I don't think I received enough guidance, man. And honestly, I don't know if it's their fault because I don't know if that's particularly their job, right? As a coach, I don't know if as a coach, are you really just coaching me to better the team, or are you coaching me to better me as a man and as a player? You know what I mean? So at that, I really don't know. I would say no, but I can't fault them because I don't know their specific job title as a coach, man. But they did make me better as a player, made me better as a man, but didn't make me better as far as figuring out what I wanted to do after football, right?
Yeah.
But with the school, Howard's illustrious, we declared on many, many. There you go. It's okay.
Where the
bag at? But so my academic advisor, she looked out, man. And shout out to Miss Schwartz, man. Miss Schwartz, I love you to this day. But she's the one that actually like pointed me in the right direction and asked me actually, hey, what do you want to do after you graduate? You know, if football doesn't work out, what's your plan? How you gonna get to it? Anything like that. And it was crazy because when I first got there, like she didn't like me for some odd reason. Why anyone wouldn't like me? Don't know, dog. You know,
and imagine.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So one day, I don't know how it happened, but Larry walked in the office with me, and Larry went to church with her, and she was like, Larry, and she was like, you know him? He was like, yeah, this is my guy. And since that day, I never stood in line to wait to talk to my advisor. I never had to wait for anything with my advisor. It was like she saw me. She was like, all right, pause this line. I'm straight to the front. I'm good to go. And she looked out for me. She made sure I was graduating on time. She made sure I was doing everything I needed to do in the classroom as far as classes, courses, anything like that. So she kept me on track as far as the university was. So I would say Miss Schwartz did keep me in line as far as what I wanted to do after football. But outside of that, man, I can't say I was blessed to receive that knowledge, man.
Okay.
And like I say, it works different for different folks, man. Like, because I know your story. Right. So I know you had Coach McAlpin that actually sat you down and was like, yo,
what's up?
If this don't happen, like, what's your next move? And he was like, what you mean? He was like, nah, like, seriously, like, if football don't work, like, how you gonna maneuver outside of this? You know, you get this degree and this, you know, what you gonna do? So I didn't have that, man, at my position. No one really, you know, offensively, like, no one really cared about the offense because literally we were the defensive school, man. We had dogs on the defensive side years in, years out, literally. Yeah. Since I've been there, like, just dogs on that side of the ball. But, you know, I had Harper, and all we talked about was football, you know. Yeah. And it's all good, you know, because I thought I was gonna play ball, so he looked at it. I'm like, cool, we that's where we're gonna go. Yeah. And then when it happened, it was like,
all right, what's next?
So that's kind of into the next question then. Right. Like, so after you figured it out, okay, this isn't it, and you transitioning from football. So what were some of the barriers you faced, like, as you tried to navigate what was next?
So it's crazy, right? So as an athlete, right, you kind of babied a little bit. So if you could actually play the sport,
bit. No, it's not a little bit.
Well, I say a little bit. You said, you know, tomato. How do you want to shake this thing? You know what I mean? How do you want to shake it? Mm-hmm. But as an athlete, you know, you get baby and you get certain privileges if you're like pretty successful in your sport, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say I was pretty successful at doing what I was doing. So some teachers were like, you know, you could do this, you know, turn this in next week, or you know, you don't have to do this, and that's fine. But it's good while you're in school, but once you graduate, it doesn't correlate because you don't have that same privilege, right? So, prime example, in college, I skated through it. I'm a smart guy. I graduated 3.24. One time for the boy. You know, but I graduate and I'm like, man, what am I gonna do? I'm not playing ball. So I had a teammate of mine who was like, hey, I'm working at this law firm. I got you an interview. So in my mind, when he said I got you an interview, it's basically saying, I got you this job, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. What's the, you know, he gave me the firm's name. He's like, cool, it's Monday at 9:30. All right, solid. So I'm like, all right, I'm about to get a job straight up. And I was like, what you mean? He was like, no, what do you know about the company? I was like, I said, nah, I don't know nothing. I said, Chuck called me and was like, he got me an interview and I'm straight. So I'm like, I don't know nothing. He was like, hey, Fred, do your research real fast. Cause it's about an hour and a half. Do your research, at least find something. So I do my Google thing, find out a little bit that I know about the company, get to the place, park my car right in front of the spot, run inside, do this interview, and not prepared at all. Mm-hmm. They're asking me questions about the firm, the clients they represent, and all I could say is, okay, that's pretty good, right? And I'm in my head, I'm like, man, what's going on? And all I could tell him was anything related to football. It's a team sport. This is it's a law firm. So I was assuming we work together. Nah, that really wasn't the case. And I left there and I was like, and I walked by my buddy at work and I was like, I just shook my head at him. Just me thinking like, okay, I just left Howard. It's the same thing. Like, this is mine. Nah, like it don't work like that.
Welcome to the real world. It's
different.
Adulthood.
Right. What? So that was a rude awakening for me because like that was one of my first interviews, and I was like, dude, that was so embarrassing. And then to top it all off, I go outside. I got a ticket on my car.
Oh,
God. Well, that's par for the course in DC.
And welcome to the real world. That was what that day was for you.
Exactly. That is
par for the course in DC.
Yes. Welcome to the real world. Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. All right.
Having experienced all that, right? Because you experienced a lot, like, just with the transition. Like looking back at your younger self, what advice would you have given to Jarahn Williams at 18 years old, a freshman walking into Howard in the cook hall?
Oh man, honestly, man, I think my freshman year, I was doing everything right, man. Like going into college, I had just really started lifting a little bit. So I was pumping a little iron, man. Got to college, and my work ethic has always been good on and off the field. In the classroom, on the field, I was solid, man. I was just small, man. So freshman year, I got hurt, and it just ended it. So, sophomore year and forward, what I would tell myself, like, yo, really, really concentrate on hitting the weights. Like, I don't know if it's going to make a difference or not, but it'll probably be in a betterment for me rather than just be like, all right, cool, I'll put these 135 on, push it 7 times and be good to go, rather than actually trying to get bigger, faster, stronger.
Right.
But it didn't help, man. Harper would tell me all the time, my receivers coach was like, man, you ain't got to lift weights, man. They can't touch you, so they can't hit you. It makes sense until
they hit you.
Until somebody hits you.
Yeah.
That temporary pain, that temporary lasts for a little bit, man, longer than what people expect, man. Right. So that's all I would tell myself. Just lift a little more weights, man. Take the weight room more serious. But then again, it's hard when, the strength and conditioning coach, when I got there, was leaving. I was excited for the guy. There we go. I remember. There we go.
Coach K.
So I was excited, Coach K, and then he left. And then I wait for him at the basement. And it's not appealing. It looked just like I was walking into just a basement, bro. Like so, exactly. So it was not appealing. I really didn't have any interest into it, man. And then if my coach telling me I ain't got to do it, I ain't got to do it.
Right.
So, but that's what I would tell myself, man. Take weightlifting seriously, man, and move forward with it.
Okay. So knowing what you know about what we do with Field to the Real, the project, kind of how beneficial do you think it have been during your undergraduate experience to have a program like ours?
I'll probably do much better now with my life. If not saying my life ain't great now.
But I was gonna say, okay.
But what you guys are doing, man, it's beneficial to just the regular athlete, not even like the outstanding people, just the people that just go to school to play sports, a way to get out of their situation. Honestly, people don't think past the sport,
That's right.
People that I know, at least the guys I literally talk to every day, all it was sports, 24/7, right? And you think it's going to continue, and it doesn't. It literally comes to an end all of a sudden, and whether you're ready for it or not, it's going to hit. And when it hits, you got to be ready. And literally, I know I wasn't ready. A lot of my people wasn't ready. That's because we didn't have like a podcast like this a situation that you guys have pushing like this that would basically inform you, educate you on, hey, look, alert, it's going to end. Like, you got 4 to 5 years to do what you got to do. But if you're not at that top tier level, it's going to come to an end. So what's going to come after that? And people don't think about it until it's too late. It's like, oh, snap, I don't graduated.
Right.
Now what? So the fact that y'all are bringing that to light and people can actually relate to people that look like them and people that are going through the same situations that they have been through and are still doing the same thing. Like, you know, the best people learn from others. You learn from other people's mistakes, anything like that. So if this guy did it, I'm not going to repeat it, especially if I seen it on this podcast and I'm watching every week. I'm like, okay, buddy did this. Let me write this down. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I have to move that certain way, but it's great to see you guys showing people that, hey, you know, it's life after sports and you can be successful with life after sports. Absolutely. If you take these certain steps rather than just put all your eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? But, you know, right now it's hindsight 2020 for me. You know what I mean? And for you too, Jarrett, you know, we look at it and we can say, oh, this is what you need to do.
Right.
But when you hear it from people that have been through the same situation, it's more relatable. So I feel like, you know what? Boy, they right. Let me figure out what I need to do. And that brings me to it. I just think about just now because it was a dude named Tim Waters on our team, right? He played linebacker.
Yeah, it sounds okay.
When I think I was a senior, he was a freshman. Mm-hmm. And when I was, you know, going through the whole draft thing or whatever, he was like, hey man, what do you suggest I do going to Howard? I said, tell you the truth. I said, man, do as many internships as you can. Mm-hmm. He said, what you mean? I said, man, look, I did one internship just because I had to. It was part of my curriculum. I said, boy, internships, network, and meet as many people as you can because you never know once you finish playing football who you know, who knows you, and who can get you that opportunity that you need. Mm-hmm. Needless to say, when he graduated, he went straight to Walt Disney. Mm-hmm. And he texted me. He was like, yo, thank you. And I was like, for what, man? He was like, because you told me a long time ago, do these internships, network with people, because you never know who you'll meet and who could take you to, you know, that next level that you need. And I'm like, better you than me, brother. I'm glad you did it because I didn't. You know, I took my road to, you know, to redemption and I did what I had, but and I was glad to at least that he listened and he did the same thing. So I'm 100% sure that Phil, to the real podcast and y'all entire situationship y'all have going is going to launch the next generation of kids into great situations, man. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. We appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Yeah. No, because I had a conversation on Clubhouse. I was in a room and it's a female head football coach from Pennsylvania, and one of her football players was on the podcast in the room with us. And he got up on stage and he was talking, and you know, he was saying how athletes don't like to hear about plan B because that means I'm not concentrating on what's going on and giving it all I got. And I said to him, I said, young man, let me just say this to you. It's not a plan B, it's just a plan. Because one day, whether you make it all the way to be one of those 1% that make it to the next level or not, it's going to end.
Yeah.
Whether you're 22 or you're 32, it's going to end, and you better have a plan. So it's just about having a plan. And so I love what you said to your teammate. That is absolutely you. And let me chime in with y'all about your university and the network that is so strong within just Howard, but then also the HBCU world that, like, absolutely what you said is on point. Like, get out there and know as many people as you can because you got a platform that the average student doesn't have. Use it. So I love it.
Yes.
Love it. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Look, we can stop now.
We're going to keep going. We just getting warmed up right now.
Yeah, here we go.
Right.
Yeah.
Now put the cameras on me. 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 Put the cameras on me.